Birdwatchers, the happiest people. These authors have written a new and exciting paper about how everyday encounters with birds can change and improve people's moods. It is worth noting that no one involved in the making or funding of this study had any conflicts of interest with the topics in this paper.
Most of us have probably been told to walk it off when we are feeling particularly emotional. To the majority of people, this can seem like a throwaway comment that in the moment makes us feel more annoyed, because how could being outside and walking make anything feel better? Even in ancient Greek times, the philosopher Hippocrates said that if you were in a bad mood, go for a walk. If you were still in a bad mood, go for another walk. So, it seems that nature and the outdoors has been helping mental health for over 2,000 years. And I think some of us can agree, we usually do feel better after being outside. It has been well researched that being outside and going on a walk can help to clear our heads and reduce negative moods, such as anger, irritability, anxiety, and sadness. What remains a mystery is which certain part of being outside makes us feel better and improve our mental health. The words outside and nature are very wide definitions that make us think of lots of things. So the authors of this study have decided to narrow it down. This study is looking at one small but mighty part of the outdoors, and that is birds. Millions of people from all around the world are interested in birds. In the USA, over 70 million people are interested in bird watching, and in the UK, 1.3 million people are part of bird-related societies. Due to this huge interest in bird life, this study wanted to see if hearing or seeing birds could change and improve people's mental well-being. Other researchers have found out that listening to birdsong can lower stress. This could be important for people who are struggling with mental health disorders like depression. Because depression affects 1 in 4 people in the UK and is the most common mental health disorder in the world, it would be very helpful to find things within people's daily lives that might prevent and help symptoms. This research is important because if birds do affect mental well-being, it could help design new environments to increase encounters with birds to support the population's mental health. To find out if birds affected mental well-being, this study used a specially designed app to collect data. The Urban Mind app was developed as part of the Urban Mind research project. Urban Mind is an app that measures people's experience of city or country living. This allowed the authors to record participants' real-time encounters with birds in real-life situations. This project was carried out by researchers from King's College London, Nomad Projects and Art Foundation, and the landscape architects J&L Gibbons, with the goal to create spaces that improve everyday living. Participants taking part in this study were recruited over 42 months from across the world. The study was advertised using social media platforms, websites related to birds, and by word of mouth. Taking part in this study was anonymous and voluntary, so if someone wanted to take part, all they had to do was download the app. Before the study started, the authors made sure it was approved by the King's College Ethics Committee, meaning that all ethical and safety guidelines were followed. In total, there were 1,292 people included in this investigation, 912 women, 367 men, and 11 who preferred not to say. The average age was 34 years, and of all the people, 19% had a diagnosis of depression, while 71% of people had no diagnosis of any mental health condition. This study was observational, meaning the authors observed the participants' responses during the time of the study. The participants' answers were recorded using ecological momentary assessments. This is a newer method which asks participants repeated questions over a certain time, which creates a recording of real-life experiences. After the participants had completed a baseline assessment, which gave the authors personal information such as age and ethnicity, the participant could begin the trial. The trial took place over 14 days, and 3 times a day each person was prompted to answer questions about how they were feeling and about the environment around them. Each time questions were answered was called an assessment. During each assessment, participants had to answer 4 questions. I am feeling happy. I'm feeling stressed. Can you see trees right now? Can you see or hear birds right now? The statements about mood were answered as strongly agree, neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. And the questions about trees and birds were either yes or no answers. These answers were recorded and used to find out how mood was affected by encounters with birds. There were 3 key findings in this study. The main finding was that participants who saw or heard birds had better mental well-being than the participants who had not seen or heard any birds. So, we can say that bird encounters impact our mood. Secondly, this increased mental well-being had a lasting effect, meaning that even after participants could no longer see or hear the birds, they stayed in a better mood. Thirdly, this study showed that everyday experiences with bird life can improve the mental well-being of those individuals diagnosed with depression. This study could be an important stepping stone to find other treatments for mental health conditions. I would like to highlight that the positive effects of bird encounters were higher when the participant was outside, suggesting that there are other things also playing a role. As mentioned in previous slides, the great outdoors is, well, great, and birds are only a small part of it. Birds are often linked with trees and other greenery, so it is hard to say if it is only the birds improving mental well-being. To try and prevent this from happening, the authors asked participants if they could see any trees. The authors found that only seeing or hearing birds was enough to improve mental well-being, no matter whether trees were seen or not. The small sample size was mostly white, university-educated people, which does not represent the public, so these results cannot be applied to the global population. This study took place just before and during COVID-19. As many of us can remember, this was a very strange time, which made a lot of people feel stressed and lonely, which could have affected the moods of participants in this study. Due to the COVID-19 lockdown rules, going outside more than once a day was hard, and made it tricky for people to encounter birds. This study was observational, so a definite link between birds and mental well-being cannot be 100% certain, but results do suggest that birds have a positive link with improved mental well-being. Despite its limitations, this study is the first of its kind and has opened many doors for future research and possible healthcare benefits. It has shown the importance birds can play when it comes to our mental well-being. So next time someone tells you to walk it off, try and walk somewhere where there are lots of birds.